So I'm going to call this meeting to order. I don't have my gavel. This is the 47th annual meeting, and we are very fortunate to have in our midst the person who was here for the first annual meeting, and that is Mr. Rick Anderson.
What'd you say?
I was only 12 years old.
So this is my 6th annual meeting, and hopefully by now I know what I'm doing, but we'll see. We have the whole meeting to find that out. The fact that it's my 6th meeting is much more a testament, not really a testament to my ability to do the job, but more to the fact that no one else on the island wants this job. So let's move on, and we'll get started. Yes, I put this slide here to remind me to thank John and Cheryl. So thank you, guys. John, sets up for every event, and as you'll see, that is a lot of events. And Cheryl has been setting up for the potlucks now, and you're doing a great job. Thank you so much. Okay, so here's our agenda. We're going to verify we have a quorum, which, yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need 5, so we just made it. We're going to approve our annual minutes. I'm going to do my report, then Todd will do the financial report, and then we'll hear from the rest of the officers and directors. And they'll each talk about what they did this year and what they plan to do next year. Then we'll do just a little bit on our mission and our 2025 vision. We'll elect our officers and directors for next year. We'll consider any additional new business. And then we'll do the President's Award, and we'll do the announcements and coming events. And I'm hoping to get through all of this in an hour. So we'll see how close we come. Yeah, exactly. All right, so approval of annual minutes. I sent the minutes out to the board. I left a few copies over there. Paul Oppenheim was our secretary last year, and he was kind enough to still have the minutes from last year and to distribute them. So, board members, are there any changes or corrections you would like to propose to the annual meeting minutes from last year? No? Okay. So hearing none, we will approve the annual meeting minutes from last year. So let's move on to officer and director reports. Just to remind, everybody knows all of us, right? I think. But just to go through the motions here, there's me, Bob, I'm the president. Todd is the treasurer. Carol's our vice president. Leslie and Virginia in the back row, way back there in the crowd, our gift shop. Dave Durrett, who's our secretary, is traveling for work. Ed Stevenson, our past president, is on medical leave, I guess. Penny is here, public information. Community services and events is open right now, and I'm the acting person. Operations and facilities, Wayne. Wayne is out with a cold. Rick is here, and education, Peggy Hodge. Peggy's out with a cold, and Maureen is going to fill in for her. Hopefully I didn't leave anybody out. Okay, so this is President's report. Look at this. So I like to say this, it's a little bit of a hyperbole, but we're in the golden age of AIHS. And I can say that because of all the great things that the team accomplished this past year. In the 6 years that this facility's been around, it's become a focal point for community events and classes. We had almost 250 classes and events on the farm and in the archival building this year, including about 150 recurring events and classes in this building. We have 266 members, which is a new record. We served over 700 salmon and rib meals at the Salmon Bake, which is a new record. We raised over $15,000 at the silent auction, which is a new record. We had 1,238, not 39, but 38 visitors this year, which is a new record. Our fundraising events raised over $30,000, which is a new record. We added a new annual event, which is Juneteenth, that Rick worked on in conjunction with Island Arts. We have over $180,000 in reserves that we intend to use and invest in our future. We have upgraded the farm buildings, the grounds, our new storage facility, and we added a new greenhouse. We upgraded our displays and our collections. We kept the gift shop open every weekend, starting in April, and we kept the farmhouse and this building, the archival building, open and staffed with docents throughout the entire summer. And finally, we did a new documentary, the Anderson Island story, that we showed here and at the film festival. And we've upgraded our video online presence that you can all find on our YouTube channel. We have 27 videos there and an additional 23 3-minute history videos that correspond to the posters around the building. So it was a great year. I'm so proud of everything that the team accomplished. You guys did a great job. Thank you all. My job, as you all know, is just to run board meetings and to tell everyone else what a great job they're doing and to say thank you. And so that's what I'm going to do. So thank you all.
Didn't you also do a bunch of those videos, Bob?
Yes.
And a little,
Yeah, that's okay. The team did a great job. Well, yes.
I just wanted to say, when I was a docent in here one Saturday, there was a couple that came in, and they came in kind of late, and I had no idea how long it would take, but they were absolutely watched every single one of those videos.
Wow.
And I think it was a 55-minute thing.
Yeah,
To do that.
definitely.
I know.
Well, they probably left knowing more about Anderson Island than everyone else on the island. All right, so our 2023 goals is to continue our tradition of great events. We'll move in the direction of the 2025 vision, and we'll talk really briefly about that. And we'll enhance all our displays, we'll upgrade the bandstand, the annex, and the gardens, and maintain physical health. So, okay, Todd, would you like a microphone? Here you go. Let's see. Yeah, because those people way in the back, like Leslie and Virginia, how do you expect them to hear you way back there?
Okay. All right. Well, I'll try and make this brief, but we had another great year, as Bob said, financially, and I'll just kind of go through this here on this side, and you'll see the gross income. We got contributions and membership dues, gifts, grants of $5,729, program services of $1,400, and then, of course, our main is the events, $42,246. That's all of the events we've had. Investment income, rental income. So the total gross income for the year was $50,957. And then moving down to expenses, you see all the expenses here: administrative, public information, operations and facilities, which is maintaining this place, and archives and education, and event expenses. So expenses were $42,322. So if you look over here on this side, you can see last year our total gross income was $45,190. This year it's 50,957. Operating expenses last year were 38,686, and this year they're 42,322. So income for the year last year was 6,504. This year it's 8,635. And then capital expenses, last year we spent 11,500. This year we've spent about 19,250 on capital expenses. So, but we're still in good shape financially. Like I said, we still have over 180,000 in liquid assets, so we're good on that score.
Okay. Budget, I switched it on you.
Oh, you did switch it on me already. Okay, all right. So for next year, this is the budget that we approved, and I have them all listed here. 58, 10,000 to store. So we're anticipating close to 60,000, 59,090 for next year, and gross income and expenses of 54,260. So we're still going to hopefully be in the black by about $5,000, 4,830. And we have a long list of capital expenses, Bob, but
Should I bring those up?
yeah, go ahead and bring those up. And every year we have a long list of capital expenses, and we don't always get to every one of them, but all of these are worthy projects that the board's been talking about over the years. So these are all on our list. So that's another 57,000 for all that, but anyways, it's a big list.
You have to dream big.
Yeah.
Okay, let me do this quickly. So, is there a question?
Well, just a question. I'm sorry, I'm new to the whole thing. I just want to understand. So the store, which I'm sure has lots of customers, had no income, but next year we're expecting 10,000. What is?
No.
We gave $10,000 last year.
Last year, yeah. But
So we're planning on using $10,000 again.
yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just haven't got it
We
yet.
didn't want to presume on them.
I see.
Yeah, we didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, we showed it as, no, it's a good call. And I'm so glad you caught that. It shows as 0 here, right up in here.
Right.
But it's because we transfer that income over at the end of the year. And so we usually get around roughly $10,000 that comes over at the end of the year. And I'm going to show you that in this next chart because I'm going to show you our income. I like to do pie charts. And so this is another way to look at our net income. This is with expenses subtracted out. So you can see half of our net income for the year comes from the salmon bake. That includes the silent auction. Then the gift shop is about 20%. The gardens and their markets, 7%. Farm Day, 7%. And then we have a bunch of others, the apple squeeze, contributions, membership, and so on. So that gives you an idea of where our money is coming from. And then here's where our money goes. Now this is the non-capital expenses. So it doesn't include things like the greenhouse or capital expenses. But our yearly non-capital expenses, around 30,000 or so. I like to say it costs about $100 a day to run the farm. It's more like $80 a day. But you can see where that goes. The biggest single consumer of money is insurance. Then comes maintenance, which is all the stuff we do, all the money we spend on keeping the facilities up to date and not falling apart. Then utilities is another huge chunk. And then we get down to, this is what? Oh, the admin expenses. This is all our office expenses and paper and supplies and all those things. And then publicity. This is displays and events and so on. So that gives you an idea of where our money goes. Every year, that insurance chunk gets bigger.
But we're having a lot of events here.
Yeah, you need the good insurance.
Yeah.
Okay, Carol,
I'm
do you want to
just gonna
just?
sit here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Can,
That's on.
you can hear me? So those first three are just areas that I work with Todd on the budget. I'm in charge of the insurance, and I do the tax return. This year, I got involved a lot in the gardens and garden-related activities. We proposed to get the greenhouse where Val Oppenheim is in charge of it, and she's working hard to get it finished so we can start seeds for next year. We're planning also to do propagation in the greenhouse, starting things from just pieces of plants. We're waiting, one of the things we want is a fence around the greenhouse. We have this vision of that fence being full of plants for sale and becoming a bigger revenue source for the farm. We also want to have classes. We plan on one in a class in seed starting and a class or more, or 2 or 3 in propagation, where people can start their own plant and leave it in the greenhouse and get it later, and learn how to do that. I've never done much of it myself, so I'm looking forward to that. We also have a garden market, and Maureen, raise your hand, Maureen.
I am standing.
Maureen ran it this year for the first time. With Jane. Jane has run that market for years. Maureen is working at this point to put together a team of people that'll run it for next year. We're looking forward to having more music, presentations, and activities at the market to help bring people into the farm, bring people into the gift shop, and just make it more lively on the weekends. We have a market garden that grows, where we grow produce for the garden market. We're still looking for the perfect name for the market garden. Last year we had kind of a bad year because of the cold spring, but we also got a late start because we just set it up for the first time last year, but Sue Salo is in charge of it, and we're working, she and a few other people are working to make our plans for next year so that we have all kinds of peas and beans and things that people really want to buy coming out of that garden. The community gardens as a whole, we had a big change. Sue Hughesby resigned, and we now have 4 garden coordinators, 1 for each garden, that are running the garden. We've been working on some changes to our garden contract. We're in the process of doing a survey of the gardeners to find out what they're interested in and what more we can do to make the gardens inviting. I'm hoping to have more support for new gardeners by having a coordinator in each garden. We're also getting the gardens more ready for new gardeners so that they get a clean garden when they start. I would hope to see more events and learning about gardening and more community in the gardens over the next year or 2. That's kind of my goal. More chances for people to learn things about gardening from each other and from programs that we develop. We have one other team, and Lori Opsel and Jane are in charge of that. They're responsible for the ornamental landscaping. Todd does a lot of the other landscaping, taking care of all the grassy areas, but Jane did the plantings around this building, which I think are really beautiful, and we're trying to maintain those and make them easier to maintain in the future. We're going to do some new irrigation for the archival building and the farmhouse. And several of the beds around here, we're going to change the plantings so that they're more, they require less care. We're also, the farm is hosting a garden club that meets once a month, and long-term, we're hoping to work with them to bring more topics, speakers, more education opportunities for the gardeners here and for gardeners around the island. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Carol. Just put it down. Who's next? Oh, Leslie. Whoops.
We don't need that, we'll just yell from here. Everything goes forward.
What?
Okay, for 2022, our accomplishments were that we added 5 new local and Northwest consigners, including art trinket shells, candles, laser printers, printed items, pressed recycled glass and pottery. We cleaned out old inventory by having outdoor and clearance sales and prizes for the kids on scavenger hunts. Donated high-quality items to the silent auction. We hung a gift shop banner at the ferry landing, which we think is really helping. And we discovered new Northwest artist works to carry in the shop by attending art shows in the area.
That was our excuse. Our goals for 2023 is to have new lights installed in the gift shop and the schoolroom area. We're hoping to have the reader board on Nelson's Corner rebuilt or at least propped up, or maybe have the roof re-roofed. And I know those are like partially our goals and a lot the work party goals. I see Wayne's not here, he probably did that for a reason. He was going to hear this again.
He asked me if you were going to be here.
One of our big goals is the Anderson Island phone book. We are actively looking for help with the phone book. Penny has offered, and we're thrilled about that. We also have Sarah Garmeyer is going to be our Yellow Pages ad person, so she's already gotten started on ads. We are really hoping to have it available for purchase on April 1st, which will be a first. We also really hope to train 1 or 2 consigners or volunteers. They don't have to be consigners in the store. To be able to open and close, it's going to have to be somebody that we get to know or know well and trust, of course, so that Virginia and I can get a break and we don't have to be there every single weekend. And also so we can maybe go out of town to a gift show, or out of state to a gift show sometime next year, which was one of our goals this year, and we didn't manage to get it out. So, there you are.
Thank you. Our secretary, Dave Durrett, is out of town on business. It was not his first choice, but he told me a coworker died unexpectedly, and so he got pressed into service. But we're recording this for Dave so he can spend some of his free time watching the video and creating minutes. I'm sure he's very grateful for that.
Just one thing about Dave, he put together the survey for the garden group. He's done surveys in the past, and he's helping us with that.
Yeah, he has a lot of talents. Very nice person as well.
I was going to ask if you're going to do the calendar again.
Dave is also our membership chairman, by the way. He took over from Jerry Simonson. Ed sent me some words. He's not able to be with us tonight, though I hear he is at home. So he has not been kidnapped and taken off the island. In terms of what happened last year, continued routine maintenance of the building, continued landscape enhancements, and with the help of John, he ensured that the building was prepared for all the planned events, and there were almost 200 scheduled meetings and events and classes held in this facility, which was absolutely not what anyone had in mind when they built this facility. It was really built as a storage facility and as a museum, but it's really morphed into an event center and probably had a much more positive impact on the island community in that role. So we're really very happy to step into that role and nurture the community. His 2023 goals, relocate stage, speakers, and screen. What that means is, see these two giant speakers up here? We're planning to take those and split them and put them on each side so that we will have an unobstructed view of the screen. And we're also looking at putting some big monitors further back in the space here, and also putting some additional speakers on a delay further back in the space. If you're sitting in the first half of the building, you can see everything and the sound is very clear, but if you're toward the rear back there, the sound falls off pretty rapidly and it's hard to see up front, and we're trying to correct that. Okay. Oh, look, it's me again. So, community services and events. You folks all know that Jeannie McGoldrick was our community services and events coordinator for like 12 years, way before I started this role. And last year, at the end of the year, she stepped down and Laura Barrett took her place. But Laura resigned after about a month, and really nobody jumped up and said, me, take me. So we came up with a plan to fill this role with a set of people. And I took over as sort of overall coordinator, and then we had people coordinating each of the main events. So as I mentioned earlier, all our fundraising events together raised over $30,000. If you were running numbers quickly in Todd's presentation, you could see it was $32,000 was the net. And like I said, Salmon Bake was just an enormous success this year. And we had almost 250 classes and events here and on the farm in conjunction with Island Arts. So our partnership with Island Arts is it's a great working relationship, and it really benefits the entire island. The film festival was here, recurring classes. We had a wedding here, or at least a wedding reception. People are now booking this for private events, like Christmas parties and anniversaries and so on. And we had so many events that we actually put an online system in place so people could sign up online. So far this year, we've had over 100 reservations created that way. So that was a big help. For 2023, our main goal is to add an event director. And you'll see that when we get to the elections. So it'll no longer say Bob acting next year. All right. Penny, would you like a microphone? Here.
Well, this year we kind of geared up slowly. January, February, we did do some events here, but we didn't do potlucks. We just did presentations, and then we just have geared up as the year has gone by. So we're pretty much back to normal, and we have so many events that require publicity. From the photo contest, the concerts, and the writing workshop that was here, community memorials that are here, Juneteenth, which was new, the potlucks and presentations, the Peter Puget Landing reenactment in the art contest, and the new piece of artwork that we have for the archival building as a result, actually 2. The display of gingerbread houses at the holiday open house, which was collaborative with the kids at school and Island Arts, and then all the traditional events, and then also making sure the gift shop and museum hours are posted everywhere we need for them to be posted. So we use the message board at Yeoman in the general store, and the rain on the days of my days off kind of kept me from getting the Yeoman sign updated like it should be. I'll try and get to it this week so we can make sure that we have something about the holiday open house. But we're very, very diligent about making sure we have information to the sounder that we post on not only our Facebook page, but also meanwhile in the community pages. And Bob keeps everything that we do also on the Historical Society webpage updated. We did have a newsletter that was emailed to everyone. We do flyers at the general store and farm bulletin boards to try to keep those updated and things there. And then we have used the art sandwich boards at the general store in Yeoman for some events, like for the salmon bake and for some other things. That's a great collaboration because our sandwich boards are kind of sad. But then we also have increased use of signage at the farm, and John helped organize all the signs. So they're all labeled and we know where they are, and we don't have to buy so many new signs because we do have a great collection. But we also got them up in places this year too, like up, coming up from the ferry landing for events. I was kind of jealous when I saw the ones for the film festival. I'm like, oh, we got to hang them better. And then there are signs on the road from the ferry landing. And so we try to get publicity out as many ways as we can. And the goal is just to keep on keeping on and making sure that everybody knows what's going on here. Oh, we also send information emails to all the membership. Those emails go out before every event, so we've got to get people to read them. Read your emails. And just so you know, we are planning the last event of the season, which is the open house, which will be the 4th in the afternoon. It'll be here in the archival building, just because the farmhouse gets a little tight and hot, and we're still not sure, about diseases and things, so we need a bigger space with more ventilation. So we'll be here the afternoon of the 4th. Rick's going to do some music. We'll have cookies and keep it simple. Beulah will be decorating the farmhouse the weekend after Thanksgiving. So just keep us in mind for this Sunday.
Okay.
And anybody who else wants to help, I'll be here Wednesday to see who wants to help with that. So if you want to help with the holiday open house, that'd be great.
I've got a question. Is there a way to inform people that because there are so many private events now, the people that are coming in just to, say, go through the posters and want to do that sort of thing, is there a way that we could put it online that there's an event and that it wouldn't be the time to be touring or?
Well, usually we keep, so we have our official public hours are Saturday and Sunday afternoon, and we keep those open. we keep events out of that. So there should be no conflict between private events and our official open hours for the archival building and the farmhouse. And we enforce those. So when people make a reservation, they are not allowed to make a reservation that conflicts with our official open hours.
He's talking
we-
about people that just happen to show up.
Yeah.
Well, is that what you're
Right,
talking
no,
about?
You're talking about that would always be the case, that there would never be a private event during.
During the official open hours.
But I think what she's,
Well,
Which-
we're actually reserved for a Saturday afternoon.
10 to 2 are the hours. So
Maybe.
it's after 2, no, it's open from 10 to 2.
Okay, so anything after 2 on a Sunday. Okay.
Yeah.
it's fine.
No, Sunday it's even different. Sunday it's
12:30 to 3.
12:30 to 3.
That it's open?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, see, we've got a conflict already.
On which well, let me talk to you later, Melissa, on that, because all those reservations go through me, and so I'm supposed to be the gatekeeper
Okay.
on making sure that private events are not booked during our official open hours, okay?
Maybe we could have a sign that says private event on the front door.
Well, we can, but we shouldn't need it because the open signs should get taken down. But let's chat about that later, okay?
But I think when people see things, cars, they'll think that they can come. So I
Well,
think,
that's a good point.
I
So
think just having a sign
we
that
can,
says,
we can have a
private
private
event.
event,
yeah,
something like that. Sure, okay. Or you know how we had those open signs made up? Penny made up, not Penny, but Peggy had a bunch of open signs. So we can have closed,
Not open.
or big skull and cross quarantine signs, maybe something.
You know, it's human biohazard.
Yeah, exactly, that's a good one.
People see cars and people, they think they can come.
Okay, so that's a good idea then.
Well, after doing that wedding,
Yeah.
you can blame us for that one wedding that was on there.
But you
that we had
were,
this week.
but you were in March, April, when were you? May, yeah. So you were not during we don't officially start open hours until the end of May.
Oh, so May till
So,
And
so,
then we're on call
yeah,
Oh, well, then we don't have a
through
conflict.
December.
okay.
If that's just something.
Well, that's how it got by me then.
Yes. Good. Then we
Yeah,
should
so,
start moving out.
so these buildings are only officially open June, July, and August. What is it, Labor Day through Memorial Day? Or really, Farm Day through,
So if I'm on call as a docent in November on a Sunday afternoon and I get called, if somebody's down there, they want to come, you know, but there's a private event.
Well, we wouldn't call you,
They would call me because you would know that.
but, well, I hope so.
it would be on the calendar.
so it is, there's an event calendar on the website. It says yearly calendar, and every event, whether it's a public event or a private event, every event at any venue in the farm is marked on that calendar. Okay, and so, well, we won't take the time to bring that up, but that public resource is there. Okay? All right. Oh, look, it's Wayne who's not here. So he asked me to do his section. Let's see if I can do a Wayne imitation here. All right, so if you have been around longer than me, you will remember back from at least probably 8-10 years ago, there was an ongoing war with the beaver, which is down in the pond here, right at the low point in the road, just south of the park's residence. And the beaver likes to dam that up. And so we've had a continual ongoing war with the beaver, or it's kind of like a senior make work project for the work party to go out there and try and undo the dam that the beaver constantly creates. If you ever are out for a nature walk and walk by that upper pond, you'll see a huge pile of sticks. It's like so high, it's amazing, which is supposedly the sticks that the beaver has built up for a dam, and then we've cleared it and moved it from one pile in the water to another pile on the bridge. But we do have a drain pipe in there now, and maybe that'll work. Maybe not. Wayne has a trail camera, and you'll see his goal, one of his goals for next year, is to put the trail cam out and catch the beaver in action, because it's still, the beaver is, he's like a cipher or a poltergeist. Right? No one's necessarily ever seen him. But they see sticks mounting up and water backing up, and they think it must be a beaver. So having a trail cam there to actually take a picture of him in action, that will be a major achievement for us. The annex, that big building that is just to the west of us, we finally got power there, and you can see here is the old picture of the annex, this old dark building, not so old, really a brand new dark building, and now it's transformed with lights, and we also have a workshop in here the team has been building. This is a 20 by 20 foot workshop, and we have a bunch of tools that were donated to us by Dennis. What's Dennis's last name? Okay. And they're going to put all those tools in there, so we will have a professional grade wood shop in there for creating professional grade sawdust, which is of course what we do with tools, right? But it'll be fun. It'll be good sawdust. We're going to install some pallet racks in there. The Jansen Memorial, you probably have all seen out here, that was built by the garden team. And then there's a composting project. We've tabled that for now, but we'll revisit it next year. The greenhouse, this is what the greenhouse looked like early in the year, a box full of stuff, really 6 boxes full of stuff. And here's what the greenhouse looks like now with these happy greenhouse users. And your happy greenhouse assembly team there. And the bandstand expansion, we've tabled that for now, but we're going to be revisiting it next year. So, this is Wayne's goals for next year. Continued beaver harassment. Move and set up tools in the annex, install pallet racks in the annex. Pallet racks are just big metal racks that we can stack stuff on, so that it looks like a Costco when you go in there. We're going to reorganize things in the annex, put new lights in the museum store. See, your project's on there, right? And what we're going to do is put new light bulbs in. We'll talk about that. We're looking at maybe having to replace the cooling unit in the cold room, doing some painting and staining, replacing the brakes on one of our old tractors. And Wayne wanted everyone to know there's no work party on the 23rd. Our last work party of the year will be December 15th, and then we'll restart on January 4th. So thanks again to all the work party volunteers, who really are the people that keep this place in tip-top shape. Rick, you have the mic, okay?
I have the mic. Can you hear me all right? Okay, so we had an awful lot of fun this year. We had some major acquisitions. I think principal among these is the Hazel Heckman collection, which I've gone through from start to finish and now have it in 10 boxes, 10 big boxes. And that collection, maybe you know all this, but it includes about 160 unpublished short stories, Hazel was a very prolific writer, and it includes 6 novels, which are 3 manuscripts of the ones that she published, famous books, and 3 unpublished novels, 2 plays, and voluminous correspondence. She corresponded with a number of people and kept copies of her letters, or some of the people collected her letters and sent them back, so we had them. So the one goal would be someday to have a published compendium, I don't know what it's called, but the complete short stories of Hazel M. Heckman, something like that. I've made put out a few feelers to different presses, and so far they're not interested. But we also, as a near-term goal, we intend to get all of these stories scanned and attached, posted on our website, so people can just come on our website and read these stories. Most of them have scribbles and cross-outs and changes made in them, so that'll just be part of the fun, I think. Let's see, Hazel's family donated an old spinning wheel, which had been in her family for generations, and it's now in the second floor of the farmhouse. We also acquired an island crank phone, some paintings by Billy Hansen. We're still in the process of getting our manure spreader. We're waiting for the right opportunity to get that. And we had one fun event, which was the deacquisition and repatriation of the acorn grinder. The ladies in the gift shop, remember, they had this acorn grinder in there it's been there for 45 years. And very few people know the story of why we had it, and nobody knows why we need it. So it just seemed like the right thing to do, to return it to its original home, which we tracked down to the Tuba-Tulable tribe of Weldon, California, in the Kern River Valley. So after making some inquiries, I got in touch with the tribal chief, told him what we had, sent him a picture of it, and he said yes, they would be thrilled to have that. So it took some doing, but Scott Dickey, you see in the picture there, that's Scott Dickey on the right with the, I was going to say with the beard, but with the hat. And that's Robert Sanchez, the chief of the Tuba-Tulable tribe. And that's the Kern River Museum behind there, which is now the new home of this acorn grinder. So the people of that tribe sent many emails. Oh, I'm sorry, but some of the names, Samantha Rides a Big Horse was one of the people. We got emails from these people thanking us profusely for thinking of them and our generosity. We also, Betty Mae Anderson's family donated a collection of antique quilts, which she had put together. And we're not sure quite yet what we're going to do with those, but we'll find something. Okay, is there another page? Oh, yeah. Okay, so one of our projects was to create a gallery of island artists in the McGoldrick Library. And the criterion would be that the artist must be an island artist, and secondly, to have the art object should have some kind of island theme. So you can see I believe we have 5 pictures up now that are by different artists, and there's a couple of sculptures, carvings. We'll continue with that till we fill up the wall. And in the kitchen, we've started a gallery of the old salmon bake posters, which adds some color to the room. We've had, I thought, a significant omission of not having a nice portrait of Lois Scholl. And Lois Scholl was considered the founder of this museum, and without a doubt, if it hadn't been for Lois, I don't think we'd have a museum, at least not on this property. We wouldn't be sitting here tonight. So that, for those of you who didn't know her, that is Lois. And with some fancy technological work by Bob, we were able to take an old blurred snapshot and create a stunning portrait of this, which now hangs in the farmhouse next to the picture of Alma Ruth Lang. So the only thing left to do is to make a little bronze plaque similar to the one for Alma Ruth that says Lois Scholl with her dates and that she was our founder. We participated along with the Park District in the creation and dedication of an interpretive site on Jacobs Point to commemorate the visit of Peter Puget and his party to Anderson Island in 1792. I think some of you were there. And in conjunction with that, we had a contest, an art contest to ask artists to submit paintings depicting this event. And we chose 2 of these, and they were reproduced. As you can see, this picture here, this big billboard has been installed at Jacobs Point. So if you take the trail there, you'll see this. We also have the original of that painting is hanging in the McGoldrick Library Gallery. Also, we had a reenactment group that Harold Barrett was part of, had a reconstruction of the longboats that Peter Puget and his party used when they explored Puget Sound. And they came and visited the island and set up an encampment, which some of you may have visited. They had the old period appropriate tents and instruments and so on. It was a lot of fun. They'd really like to do it again next year, so stay tuned.
There's also a video. We did a 30-minute video of the whole event, the dedication and the reenactment. And you can see them sailing up in their longboat. And you can find that video on our website or on our YouTube Historical Society channel. So it's only 30 minutes of your life that you'll lose if you watch it, and I recommend you do.
So we also continued with the reorganization and upgrading of the museum aspects of Coop 2, which has a domestic display and also a maritime display. The American Legion has their military display there. We were thinking they might be moving out and setting up their museum in the community center, but so we'd have more space, but it sounds like they might not be doing that, so we'll see. The other project that we had was the Society adopted this antique apple project. Maybe some of you heard Dave Benscotter when he came and talked about the Lost Apple Project, which he started in eastern Washington. So the point of this is, on this island there are probably 20 or more old orchards, 3, 4 trees, 10, 12 trees, from over 100 years ago, many of them from the 19th century. And a lot of them, like this you can see there, are falling over. They still cling to life. They produce a little fruit each year. Nobody knows what varieties they are, but there are obviously some apples that the pioneers liked, you know, and worked for them. So with some help from David Benscotter, we have sent samples. I think that's an exaggeration there. It's only 8. So far we've sent DNA samples for 8 old trees, including one from the farm here, and including an Ekenstam apple that Ray Moore had grafted and kept alive. So we're going to find out fairly soon what varieties these ancient apples are that we're growing here. A lot of them are not available today, and you know, there's various reasons why they're no longer commercially viable. Eventually, I would like to see an orchard of maybe 100 trees, perhaps 4 each of 20 or so varieties. And it may or may not be here on our campus, possibly down by the barn or the archival building. Or if that doesn't fly, then probably some other place on the island. I've got a number of options for that. I think that's all I have. Next year, just continue with these projects. We have some ideas for some new posters and for filling up a few more display cases. ongoing work in Coop 2, and just more of the same, go through the Heckman collection. We might put on one of her plays at one of our potlucks. We'll see what happens.
If you got your newsletter, there was a Heckman story in it too. We're going to try and include those kinds of things in the newsletter. Maybe little pieces.
Yeah, I was going to mention Penny did a great newsletter that went out about a month ago, and we tried to email it to everybody, but lots of people's emails reject email from us. So if you didn't get an email from us with the newsletter, look in your trash or whatever it's called, and see if it's there. If you find it there, move it to your inbox. And once you move it from trash to your inbox, then we will become a trusted email sender. And you won't have to do that again. But it relies on you. These email filters have gotten very aggressive in recent years because we get so much email spam, and they rely on you to find the good emails and move them to your inbox, and then they remember that. They mark us as a good email sender.
Are there any hard copies of that available by any chance?
We can create hard copies, and perhaps we should do that.
That would be nice.
Okay. Now, education, Peggy, who's our education chairman, is not here tonight, but Maureen is going to do her presentation.
Well, as you can see, the total docents from 2022, everything is visible there, so I won't repeat everything to you. But Peggy left me some notes that are not on the PowerPoint, and so she wanted to make sure that everybody knew that the docents play a really huge part in the education for the Johnson Farm, and she wanted to also let you know how many people have come through and all the enhancements, people like teacher Ted Newsbaum, who developed the farm scavenger hunt, and Lee Whitaker, who did the I Spy game that was done during Farm Day and Apple Squeeze. And so kudos to Mr. Newsbaum and to Leanne Whitaker for doing this, because it was a real hit. I think, we could pass this around, but it's really cool where the kids would have to, it's I Spy in the Farmhouse when you spy any of these objects, write down the room it's in. And then it's amazing how many kids were participating, and that we're talking grades up to kindergarten to 3rd grade. So it's pretty outstanding that they could really dig something like this. It's great. So, just having everybody participate is very interactive, I think, creates greater memories for the kids.
Sure.
And the parents, kids will bring their parents. Parents will bring their kids. Parents will go and bring them here to the garden market. And so it's a real integral part to include the kids on the island as part of this whole education program. The event features of Farm Day and Apple Squeeze are important, but also the docents play such a big part in making sure that all of these displays and the farmhouse are cleaned and kept in rotation. So they keep upgrading or revolving some of the items that you see here. And most visitors in 1 month, Peggy says, was in August. 318 people for the month of August. And April to October visitors, 1,238 this year, and last year was 881. So we've really grown. So that's really a testament to how much this archival building and the farmhouse has really drawn people here, just as we've seen with the garden market and just enhancing everything about this property. We want to make sure that we can keep growing our docent teams with new faces, as well as people who really know the island. because people feel very welcome by all of the docents with all the training that you can get, and it's 1 shift per month of your choice, 2 hours of training, and she said, make sure you hold up the green handbook. The green handbook is the Bible.
Yeah.
And she said that, you know, whatever you do, she says there are always the teammates who will help you. And there were field trips, I'm sorry, I'm jumping all over the place, field trips with 2 of them. So one was in the spring and one was in the fall. And Jerry did his Apple talk, which was very entertaining, I understand, to the kids. And they had the ice bath. So those were the 2 activities and field trips that were done. And this was a lot of facilitation on the part of Peggy with the school. So she said, if you're interested in becoming a docent, all of these empty chairs, but we have people. Yeah, great, thank you. So I have the sign-up sheet here that I should have by the name badges. And so she said the goals are to have maybe more signage. She says existing signage and
Let's
a
see, we
picture
have-
of the kids interacting with this. I'm not sure if I finished all of this, but she says potlucks and programs. She has September to March. I believe you see it right there. I don't have the names of all the speakers, but this is, as you can see, Berlin did such a wonderful job with her presentation as always. And so we always look for new speakers, new topics, and we need to get that from the membership. Anybody who has an idea or they have a connection with a potential speaker should contact Peggy or Bob, because Bob is the info at AIHS and it will go to Peggy. So suggestions, and also once again thanks to the curators Karen Stevenson and Linda Simonson for keeping the farmhouse clean and changing all the displays, and appreciation to all the docents. That's it.
Okay, these were Peggy's 2023 goals, which is to, as Maureen indicated, improve our docent coverage, improve signage, and continue to provide engaging speakers. Okay, so the last thing in the business meeting is electing officers and directors for next year. So we have a set of staggered terms, and so the terms that are expiring this year and the nominees are here. So I'll go through them really quickly. President, my term expires, and so the board, not so much in their infinite wisdom, but in their lack of a credible opposition candidate, have nominated me to do this again. This will be my last time. This way I break Ed's record. So he's like 7.5 years. So, all right. Then Carol, we nominated Carol to serve another term as vice president. These are 2-year terms. And then for our events director, a lady named Wendy Lassard will be our events director. She is a professional events director. And she's been doing events in Hawaii. She moved out here to the island last year. She's not at this meeting because she's in Hawaii doing an event. But she has volunteered to be our events director, and I am so looking forward to this. So she'll be great. She'll do an amazing job. And then for operations director, Wayne didn't realize his term was expiring, so we just didn't tell him. He's not here, so we're going to nominate him for another 4 years. So these are our nominations, Bob, Carol, Wendy, and Wayne. Are there any additional nominations from the floor?
I I move that nominations be closed and the secretary be instructed to record a unanimous ballot.
Oh, wait. Oh, can we do that? All right, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, then I guess these are our officers for next year. Thank you, everyone. Is there any other new business?
I have a question.
Yes?
Are we doing a Salmon Bay poster?
We didn't get any, so I'm gonna ask people one more time.
Okay,
to
'cause
submit.
nobody-
We haven't
because-
gotten any.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all until things sounded, and that was like, 2 weeks ago.
It always comes out on the 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go again and see if we can't round up some submissions. I think the 2 years that we didn't take submissions, people got out of the habit.
So
So if
usually
you,
it's announced, quite a few months before.
so.
Okay, thank you, Virginia. Anything else? All right, then, boom, I adjourn the business meeting. So now we're going to do a couple of, very quickly, more things, which shouldn't take more than a couple of minutes. And then we'll do the President's Award, and that'll be it. So to remind everyone, as if you needed it, our mission, which we have a big, long mission statement. If you've ever read it, it's hard to make it through the whole thing and stay awake. So I like to shorten it to 3 words. This is what they taught me at Boeing after 40 years was anything more than 3 bullet points is lost. So here's our mission: preserve, present, and engage. So we preserve the history of the farm, the island. We present it to the islanders and to all visitors in the way of displays. And we engage the community through our events, our concerts, all our fundraisers, all the things that have been happening in this building and the farm for the past year, and really for the past 47 years. So our goal is to continue to do this. We have a 2025 vision, which you can read through, but it really says we're going to do what we're doing, but do a better job. One of our most significant enhancements on the 2025 vision is to take all our more of our outbuildings and make them, upgrade them to museum quality buildings and open them during the weekends when we're open here in the archival building and the farmhouse. So that is our 2025 vision. And that will be our 50th anniversary. Wouldn't it be cool if our president for our 50th anniversary was the same president that we had for year 1? Wouldn't that be cool? Yeah, that would be amazing. Okay, and he's got a couple of years to think about it too. All right, one more thing here. Actually, I have 2 more slides. First, a thank you to Sue Huseby. Everyone here knew and really loved and appreciated the job that Sue did in the gardens for 15 years. When she started, there were just 22 gardens. Now there's 40 and 12 gardeners waiting. She helped and establish all the gardens. She worked with each of the 120 or so gardeners that have come through the gardens in the last 15 years. And she and her husband, Bill, just made invaluable contributions to the Historical Society and the community. Sue's keeping her gardens. She'll still be there, but she has stepped back a bit. And as Carol mentioned, we've had to recruit 4 people and an online system to replace Sue. So that's what a great job she did. A couple of things in memoriam. As you folks probably know, Elmer Brown, who was our former operations chairman and also a longtime gardener, passed away just a month or so ago. and also Bruce Buchanan, who almost all of you know, a physician, a docent, and a gardener, also passed away just a couple of weeks ago. And there'll be a reception here next Saturday afternoon for Bruce. Okay, now it's time for the President's Award. If you look through the past President's Awards, you'll see it's kind of a who's who of everyone who did something worthwhile and important on the island. But there's a name that's missing there, and that's going to be this year's President's Award winner, and that is Jim Banishill. You know, I tried to write down what Jim did, and I thought, no, there's a better way. I'll just look through my collection of pictures from the past 7 years, and I'll pull out a handful with Jim in it. And so that's what I have. Here's Jim, 2022, standing in front of the greenhouse as part of the greenhouse construction crew. Here's Jim standing up there stuffing apples into the top of the dragon at apple squeeze time. That was last year. Here's Jim standing on top of a ladder on top of a forklift, a scissor lift, putting the roof of the annex together. Here's Jim on top of a ladder, on top of something, putting the beams on the new salmon bake shed together. Here's Jim putting the fence together, using the Paul style of fencing, by the way. Here's Jim chucking corn at the at the salmon bake. And here's the oldest picture I have of Jim in 2016, putting the roof on the archival building. Wow. Notice how Jim is standing here just kind of nonchalant, and this old guy here is clinging to the roof for dear life. Afraid he's going to fall off, but Jim's like, yeah, whatever. So Jim, come get your plaque. I don't get to do this very often, but thank you very much.
We won't show any of those to the insurance company.
I will burn this slide. Okay, a reminder, memberships, all your renewals and that you do now are good through 2023. So please go online, renew your membership. The gift shop will be open Saturday and Sunday through when? Mid-January? December 18th, okay. And you'll also be open the Friday after Thanksgiving. And we've got some upcoming events here in the archival building. Next Saturday evening is the movie Top Gun Maverick, the highest grossing movie of last year. So even though Tom Cruise is like 80, people still come to see him. The Vivace Choir will be here Saturday, December 3rd at 5 p.m. They were here a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, and they're a joy to listen to. I recommend that. And then we'll have our holiday open house here, as Penny mentioned, on Sunday, December 4th from 1 to 3 p.m. And that's it. All right, thank you, everyone.